Okay, sixth grade, so today we are dividing by powers of 10, and remember powers of 10 are like 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. We're going to focus on dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000. And remember that when we're dividing by these, you don't actually have to do any division, because when you divide by a power of 10, you can just move the decimal place, the number of places that there are zeros. So dividing by 10, we would move it one place because there's one zero. Dividing by 100, we'd move it two places because there are two zeros. And dividing by 1,000, we move it three places because there are three zeros. And remember, anytime we divide by a whole number of any kind, our number is always smaller. So if we're going to move the decimal one place, if we're going to make the number smaller, we need to move it one place to the left. So all the ones that you're doing today, when you're dividing by powers of 10, you'll be moving the decimal point to the left. So this first one would be 0.534. On the second one, we'd have to move it two places. So we'd have 0.0534. And again, you can always double check. The decimal point had started here, and it needed to go over twice, and so that's why we filled in that empty place with a 0. I'm going to erase that. Alright, and so dividing by 1,000, we have to go over three places. So 1, 2, 3. So you see that we have two places that we'd have to fill in with zeros. So that would be 0.00534. And you can see a pattern. 0.534, 0.0534, 0.00534. I'm going to put a 0 on the front too. Alright, on the next ones, we're just doing the same thing, but this time you notice that the 82 doesn't have a decimal point. And remember that anytime there's a whole number with no decimal point, the decimal point is understood to be to the right of the number. At the end is what a lot of people like to say, but I like to hear you say the right, so I know exactly what you mean. So we'll put the decimal point there, and then we'll start moving it 1, 2, and 3 times. So moving it once, we put it just right in between, and so we'd have 8.2. If you think about it, 80 divided by 10 is 8, so 82 divided by 10 is 8.2, so that makes sense. Looking at the next one, so we're going to move this one over twice, so again it starts at the far right. Go over 1, 2, and that would give us 0.82. We don't need that 0 here because it's not holding a place, but we like to put it there just to make it look good. And on the last one, we're going to move it over three places, again starting there. So 1, 2, 3, and that gives us this empty place right there to be a 0, so 0.082. Again, we can put that 0 on the front. Alright, so now the next one doesn't have a set, but we know that since we're dividing by 1,000, that's three places, so we're just going to go 1, 2, 3. We have one extra place to be a 0, so 0.0516. And on the next one, we're dividing by, this time we have a missing number, so we have to figure out what did we divide by to get it to be this. Okay, so I'm going to look. It started out as 3.2, which would have made it right here, so how many places over did we go? Went over two places, so that means we must have divided by 100 because there are two zeros. So you would write 100 as your answer. So looking at this next one, it started right here in front of the 5, like that, to the left of the 5, 0.58, and so we went over twice like that, and so that means we divided by 100 on this one as well. Okay, so let's look at this one. This time we would have divided by 10, something divided by 10 to equal 0.89, so that means we would have had to move to the left one place to end up here. So we would have had to go over once like that from there, so our starting number is 8.9. And again, just double check that that makes sense. So that's what you'd have. 8.9 moved over once gives us 0.89. So the 10 is your answer. So looking at this one, if we divide it by 100 and end up with that, that means that we started over moving it twice to the left. So let's see, if we moved it twice to the left and ended up here, then that means it would have had to have started between the 8 and the 2. So 8.2 divided by 100 equals 0.082. Okay, so that gives us, on this last one, it wasn't the 10 that's the answer because we were given that. It's the 8.9 that's the answer. Sorry about that. Whoops. Okay, so on this one, the answer is the 8.2 because that's what we would have divided by 100 to get the 0.082. And that's it. I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, be sure to send me an email. Just use the contact form on the right side of the blog, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.